What is NEW? It is the new economic evolution of the world. The abbreviation of NEW and the word evolution means that it is not a revolution because it omits the destructive word revolution. The term revolution refers to the following. Why does revolution occur? The upper classes are unable to live in new ways, and the bottoms do not wish to live in the old way. But there is the concept of evolution, when the tops and the bottoms can evolve together to come to new figures. Now, if we talk about the new economic evolution of the world, it is an indication of how the company may go by the way of prosperity. And society can go by the way of prosperity only in one case, when ordinary average people will participate in different programs, industries, companies and businesses, and the economy as a whole. And when they will benefit from this economy. I will give a simple example. If all of the people of planet Earth would be partners of all the energy companies of the world, and we know that the energy companies in the world over the past 100 years have made large amounts of capital, and they seem to run the world. If you imagine that all the energy companies in the world, at least 50% consist of ordinary citizens in the form of investors who can obtain monthly income. Then, if prices for oil products and energy in the world were to rise, these people would not have a problem. Think, prices have risen, which means we earn more. But what is happening in the world? The owners of these energy companies are some small number of people. And when these companies raise prices for their goods, of course, the average person suffers. The second position. Let's imagine that at least 35% of the world's people are co-owners of the global financial system, which over the past 100 years has made an increase in its capital. This is just crazy interest. For every dollar invested 100 years ago, those who controlled the global financial system in the modern times received not even $1 million, but probably $1 billion. And if 35% of the people 100 years ago would participate in the global financial system, there would be no poverty on the planet. There would be no revolutions or wars, because everyone would have a high enough income, everyone would be well. So, one of the tasks of the NEW is to give people the opportunity to be accomplices, co-owners of the most profitable enterprises and directions. And the second point, to give an opportunity to those organizations that are already in this financial system, which today are at a standstill and do not understand how to continue to make capital gains. Thanks to this technology, we can enable growth at least tens, hundreds of times in a short period of time. And thus, the balance of the world may not be 10 to 90. After all, for probably 2 or even 5,000 years, 10% of the people own 90% of the money. And 90% of the people on the planet only use 10% of the money. Every time a position shifts to a smaller side, wars and revolutions ensue. What is revolution? Terrorism? This is all due to class inequality. As soon as the level changes the other way, as soon as 15 to 30% of the people on this planet use 70% of the money, and 70% of the people use 30% of the money, then peace, grace, and prosperity will come. The goal of the new economic evolution of the world is to create such qualified, advanced, and informed investors who will understand where to invest money, how money can grow, and how they can participate in different directions. In order to shift the balance this way, 50 to 50, then 90% of the people will own 50% of the money, and 10% of the rich people in the world today will also own 50% of the money. Then the balance may be completely different. And the average person who makes money today will earn 100, 200, or even 300 times more in the new system. His standard of living will be much higher. The level of prosperity and further development of society will be much higher than today. Therefore, the new economic evolution of the world is an outlet for humanity in the development system, so that it really comes to Homo spiritus and becomes a spiritual person developing.